The Archaeological Service of Bern is currently excavating one of the historic city's two gallows. Until the early 19th century, felons, thieves, highwaymen and murderers were hung here on a three-poles gallows, similar to the gallows preserved in Berfelden in Germany. It's not a coincidence that the place of execution was set up on the highest point of the city of Bern. It served as a landmark, demonstrating to people travelling to Bern that law and justice ruled this place. After executions were stopped, this land remained untouched, as no one wanted to build his home here.
Those who were executed on the gallows were deprived of the right to be buried in a graveyard. According to Christian belief at the time, only those who were properly buried in a graveyard in the grounds of a church would be resurrected on Judgment Day. Someone who was executed no longer had the right to salvation. These people were hastily buried, with their hands tied behind their backs, often face down, facing hell instead of heaven.
The executed were often left hanging on the gallows until the body parts simply fell down. The human remains were then dumped in pits. One grave here contains the remains of up to 20 individuals. Once the excavation work is done, it will be the task of anthropologist Dr. Susi Ulrich and her team to closely analyse the bones and to evaluate the ages and the sexes of the criminals. The experts strongly suspect, though, that these were only men, since female criminals were usually burnt or drowned.
For me, the work on this place of execution in Bern is very fascinating, but at the same time it's thought-provoking, especially when you see how many young people were executed, young men of only 16 years of age.
Another riddle the experts are hoping to solve is this.
Also am meisten überrascht ist, wie der schön liegt, wie eine normale Beerdigung, wie eine...
The curious thing here is that this skeleton was buried almost like someone in a normal graveyard. He lies here very peacefully, except that his hands were tied behind his back, indicating that he also died on the gallows.
Große Wahrscheinlichkeit zusammengebunden im Rücken. Ist der von einer Sozialschicht, ist dort ein Unterschied?
Whether this man came from a higher social class or whether what he did required special treatment, we don't know yet.
Zu geheissen kann, muss man den besonders beerdigen, weiss ich nicht.
A skeleton is still kind of a person, even if there are only the bones left. Holding them in your hands moves you more than just looking at a picture. It's a human being, only without the covering.
Today, people are starting to forget about what took place here not so long ago. While the archaeologists are recovering the last scraps of evidence from the past, bulldozers and cranes have started work on the area, which will soon be covered by luxury apartments.